So you're practicing a new song, a new piece, a new piano piece. And how do you go about it? How do you actually practice in a way that is consistent and gives you the most results as you're going through it? Now, if you don't know me, I'm Pat's Piano Playing. That's my brand name, Pat's Piano Playing. And I've been playing for quite a while. And I've also been teaching for around 13 years. Anyways, so one thing that I came up with, I call it M.O.P, M.O.P. And that's going to be considered, well, that's the abbreviation of the method of practice. We're going to mop this song clean, is what I always say. And there's 3 steps to this. It's pretty easy, but maybe not simple. It's simple, but maybe not easy. Who knows? But the way I tell my students is this. We're going to use the slurs to identify us, the melodies that we're going to break the song down into. The first step is going to be divide. By the way, the method of practice goes like this: divide, repeat, and combine. It's only 3 steps. But as we're practicing this song, how are we gonna divide the song into different sections? It's pretty hard to do that when you're looking at the sheet music and you're squinting on it and there's so many notes to go through and you're playing the song throughout. But let me put it this way. Let me tell you how things happen in my practice. So when I'm teaching a song, it could go in many different directions, but let's say that a student actually plays a song and he plays it pretty well, and he might be thinking, oh, well, that's about it. You know, like, I know how to play this song. I got all the way to the end and that's about it. But there's more to it, as you can imagine. When you play a song, let's put it this way. So when you start playing a song, you already have the hand positions. You already know, like, how to go about it in terms of how to begin interacting with the sheet music. But when you start practicing the song, I will put it this way. The first step is you want to play as far as you can in a way that it challenges your sight reading. So this is good. You want to get a taste of how the song sounds like. Let's assume you have no idea what the song sounds like. Let's say that it's a song that your teacher might have given you, or a song that, you know, just based on the material of what you're looking for, but you don't know what the song actually sounds like. Let's put it this way, okay? Because when you're playing a song that you already know what it sounds like, then we can, you know, skip further into actually practicing it using the M.O.P system that I made up. But let's assume that you don't know what the song sounds like. So after you found out, after you figure out your hand position, you want to play as far as you can. Try not to annotate yet. You want to challenge yourself in terms of how well you can sight read. Sight reading might be one of the hardest things to do nowadays. Not a lot of people like it, and there's a lot of technologies that enables people to play music without ever reading a single note. But let's assume that all that's out of the table and we are strictly being musically literate and we want to learn how to play a song that we don't know what it sounds like, a song that we could be interested in based on the composer or the material of the song. Excuse me, but we have no idea what it sounds like. So when that happens, I do have it as the first step being play as far as you can, so you can get an idea of what the song actually sounds like. It can make sense to you. Once you get further into the song and you do your best to read all the notes and all that stuff, and you get like a huge chunk of the song. Let's say the song's 3 pages and it has like 3 sections that you have to accomplish. Let's say that we're going through the first section, or let's say that we're only playing a short song of 1 page. You want to play as far all the way to the end of that section or song so that you can get an idea of what it sounds like, a song that could actually make sense. After that, you want to identify all the phrases within the music. Phrases, as you know, are little melodies, musical sentences, you might want to call them. They're made up of many notes and usually ending up with a larger note at the end. You know, so if you have a song, it's basically looking at like a paragraph, and each sentence is a melody that is, compounded into a song. So you want to, I said earlier, the 3 steps: divide, repeat, and combine. So the first step is going to be to divide the song into different sections. I like to divide the songs according to their phrases. Phrases could be identified by the slur if the song is intending for you to play it legato. But if you don't have slurs and you're trying to figure out where a phrase resides, you can do two things. You can look at the structure of the melodies. They're usually made up of many notes, and usually with a larger one at the end. Afterwards, the second way would be to, once you kind of play it, you can kind of identify some musical cues within your hearing of the song as you're playing through it. So that's how you kind of identify phrases. The easiest way is just looking at the slurs and identifying them that way. Once you divide the song into different sections, you're going to divide them, and the next step would be repeat. You're going to repeat each section right around minimum 4 times, and at most, as long as it takes. You could do it for 20 reps or even 50 reps. But 4 is pretty much the standard for me. If you think about like working out, like gym, you might want to think about it like, I'm gonna do 4 sets of 2 reps, or something like that. So you want to do 1 set of 4 reps, and if you don't feel confident about that melody that you've been practicing, you may want to do it 8 reps or 12 reps or 16 reps. And you do want to be able to loop it around. So what does this mean? You begin on one note, and when you get to the last note, let's say that the last note is a dotted half note. After those initial 3 beats, you should be able, or at least work on, returning immediately back. I will put this into practice in a better, longer video in the future, but for now, I'm just gonna be talking through the screen. So you want to be able to loop the song in that manner. You don't want to have it be like too many pauses in between. You kind of want the melody to go and loop it around. And if you can't do that, that's great. You're gonna do right around 4 reps. You also want to apply the metronome. So if the song's in 4/4 or 3/4, let's say 3/4, because start at half notes. So you can use the metronome, but you're not gonna put the bell beat. So it's just gonna be a constant, one singular sound of a beat going around, and you want to practice that right around 4 to 16 times. Once you do that, you go to the next section and you repeat the process. That would be the repetition of the method of practice. The last step is pretty straightforward. Once you learn each section, you're gonna be combining all the sections together, and that's it. That's right around it. You're going to combine them, but now you have to work on the transitions. So you're gonna be practicing the measure of the last measure of the slur and the beginning of the next slur measure. So those are the transitions. You might want to do that as well. And that's about it. Once you are able to combine the notes, don't play with the metronome yet. I mean, after you do the repetitions, you're gonna play the song again without the beat, without the metronome, just to pace it all together so your hands can recognize them. And there you go. That's quite a good way of going about it. M.O.P, M.O.P, has 3 steps: divide, repeat, and combine. So my students don't like this process because it's very repetitive and boring. But as we all know, boring makes the world go around. So drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this method of practice. It's pretty common. I don't think it's all that, out there, but let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, and I will see you on my next video. Thank you for watching.